We're not physically attracted to Christine.
That's an understatement.
You were grossed out by her?
I won't say that, but the nachos grossed me out enough to make me go, okay, I'm waiting to marry her.
How does it feel to hear
It
him
hurts.
say?
It's horrible. I didn't know that until recently.
I'm just being honest.
How do you all feel about this? I mean,
I think
to hear this, does it
sometimes-
concern you?
I think sometimes in relationships, you have to be careful when to be honest and how honest to be.
Did he just blow?
Sometimes I think we go a little bit too far.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and I honestly couldn't believe this when I saw it. I was checking social media, and sometimes I scroll through different TLC pages just to see if there are clips of sister wives I might have missed. That's when I noticed something strange. HBO Max is removing episodes of Sister Wives. They're actually dumping a bunch of TLC reality shows because the platform is shifting more toward its own original content instead of housing all of Discovery's catalog. As I saw older episodes being deleted, I started to wonder if TLC was deliberately trying to erase certain parts of the show. Naturally, I got suspicious, thinking maybe they were trying to rewrite history to make Kody look better. Let's be real, those early seasons were brutal for him. The way he acted, the things he said, and the toxic family dynamics weren't exactly flattering. With Christine's book coming out, I even thought TLC might be trying to cover things up. I mean, when other controversial TLC families like the Duggars were cancelled, a lot of their content got buried. So I worried this was the same thing happening again, that maybe they were trying to hide Kody's verbal abuse and the messiness. But then I stumbled across something that shocked me. First of all, one of the TLC channels in India has been re-uploading every single episode from the early seasons. Wild, right? You can literally re-watch it all and remind yourself just how messy this show was. But here's the bigger shock. TLC has been hiding one particular tell-all for years, the one that aired right after the book Becoming Sister Wives came out. It was hosted by Natalie Morales, who, if you remember, wasn't exactly a Kody fan. She also hosted the season 1 tell-all right after the wedding, and then again after Becoming Sister Wives. But after that, she was gone. During that tell-all, she actually confronted Kody several times, and the whole episode has been kept under wraps, until now. Christine even wrote about it in her book. TLC clearly tried to protect Kody because of how terrible he looked, but it seems they've stopped covering for him. The infamous Nacho episode, where Kody admitted he wasn't attracted to Christine and said he was repulsed, is finally back online. Natalie asked him directly, "Does size matter to you, Kody? Were you grossed out? You said she was chubby and eating nachos." And Kody answered, "I'll be honest, I was not attracted to Christine in any kind of physical sense. I look back and wonder if that was fair, but I can't even go there because we've built a life together and we found our sweet spot." She pushed again, "So, you weren't physically attracted to Christine?" And he replied, "That's an understatement." Remember, the whole point of this tell-all was to discuss their book. Natalie pulled specific parts she felt were worth highlighting, and this was one of them. Even though I still can't find the full episode, TLC has re-uploaded this segment. I'm honestly glad they did, because Natalie pressed him on, "Does size matter?" And while Kody went on about Christine being a chubby girl eating nachos, Janelle was sitting right next to him, at about the same size as Christine. He didn't even realize how inappropriate and cruel his comments were. Mary actually defended Christine in that moment. I still remember watching that episode when it first aired, right after the book was released, and I kept thinking, why on earth would you include that story in your book? Sure, it might have been true, but being honest doesn't automatically mean being fair or kind. Some thoughts are better kept private, especially when they're cruel. By putting that in the book, Kody basically handed people ammunition to attack Christine publicly. And it only got uglier on the show. Natalie asked, "You were grossed out by her," and Kody replied, "I won't say that, but the nachos grossed me out enough to make me wait to marry her." Then Christine admitted, "That's horrible. I didn't know that until recently." And Kody just brushed it off with, "I'm being honest." Natalie then asked the group how they felt, pointing out that sometimes honesty in relationships can do more harm than good. Kody, of course, had no shame. What stood out to me most was the wives' reactions. Over the years, I noticed a pattern. Whenever Kody directed cruelty toward one wife, another would sometimes smile or smirk, almost like a coping mechanism. In this case, Janelle gave a big smile when Kody said he wasn't attracted to Christine, then looked at her, and Mary jumped in to defend Christine. Janelle even looked like she was about to jump in to defend Kody. It was this strange dynamic of competition, like sometimes the wives found relief when the harsh spotlight wasn't on them. Maybe it was even a sense of, well, at least it's not me today. But that kind of environment couldn't have been healthy. Reading Christine's book later only reinforced how damaging this was. She wrote so much about her body image struggles, always worrying about her weight, fixating on the number on the scale, trying not to eat her feelings. And it all tied back to Kody making her feel like she was never good enough. Even when she lost weight, he still made her feel inadequate. He once tried to soften his comments by saying, "You have to understand, I love Christine and we have a beautiful relationship." It just didn't start out like a fairy tale romance. But when asked if he regretted those comments, he dodged again, blaming it on processing and claiming the Nacho story happened long before their marriage. But that didn't excuse it. What's worse is that the tell-all host gave him private one-on-one time to explain himself, even pulling aside Janelle and Kody for deeper talks, but never Christine. And that makes me wonder if Kody had some control over what Christine was allowed to say. It felt like the producers realized how bad Kody looked and tried to give him a chance to walk it back, to apologize or at least show some sensitivity. Natalie even told him, "Some people watching will see what you said and think it was insensitive. Do you regret it?" But instead of giving a real answer, Kody dodged again with his usual word salad about processing life and understanding where we're at. Basically, he said nothing. And here's the bigger issue: at that point in the series, they were still trying to sell the public on the idea that their polygamy was built on love. They wanted to prove their relationships weren't like the stereotypes, that wives weren't just forced into marriages, that they weren't just objects for sex or baby making. They wanted viewers to believe their love stories were genuine. But Kody, in that moment, proved the exact opposite. He admitted he married Christine without attraction, basically reinforcing the stereotype that wives are there to fulfill a quota. He was given a clear chance to show compassion, but he refused.
Said that. In fact, all the other women kind of were like, oh no.
Well, I'm not sitting here rehearsing a line or stating a line that I've rehearsed. You asked me a question, I stated kind of where I was at the time.
And then came another telling moment. When Kody said he wasn't reciting a rehearsed line, all the other women immediately reacted, almost like, "Oh no, here we go." He told Natalie, "I'm not here memorizing a line or saying something rehearsed. You asked me a question, and I answered honestly about where I was at the time." But here's the thing. Christine wrote in her book that she noticed Kody and Robin would rehearse what they'd say before filming. They'd make sure their stories lined up, their talking points matched, and their narratives aligned, even if it didn't reflect reality. She could tell they often pre-planned how to present themselves, almost like they were working off a script. That wasn't what the show was supposed to be. The whole point was authenticity, but instead, Kody and Robin were presenting a curated, false version of events. Over time, Kody even started adopting Robin's words, mannerisms, and mindset. It felt like he was scripting himself just to keep the show marketable. And he controlled what the other wives were allowed to say, making sure they didn't disrupt the image. But the problem is, whenever Kody went off script, that's when the real trouble surfaced. Robin seemed to work overtime to keep him in line, probably because keeping the show alive meant keeping the money flowing, and we all know how much she loved to shop. In that sense, Kody basically admitted they were scripting their lives, even though the show was marketed as real. He had the chance to walk back his comments, but instead, he just said, "Well, we have a good marriage now," which didn't erase the damage of what he admitted earlier. And for years, TLC buried this episode. Only now, literally just a few weeks ago, they quietly uploaded clips to YouTube under a Most Dramatic Tell-All Moments collection. But they only uploaded content up until the Flagstaff move, before COVID. That was when Kody was still pretending with Mary, telling her she'd have a new beginning, and acting like they were dating again. But looking back, when all the wives were together for the tell-alls, the most dramatic moments were almost always about Kody and Mary, her catfishing scandal, their divorce, their broken relationship. Christine, on the other hand, played it quieter. She wasn't openly saying, "I'm done." She kept things under the radar, so it was a shock when she left before Mary, who had been unhappy for years. To me, It's really telling that the first dramatic episodes highlighted his issues with Christine, while there was almost nothing dramatic with Janelle or Robin. It was always Mary's crumbling relationship or Christine's struggles. And that's why I wish TLC would stop hiding these episodes. I'm glad they're putting some of them back up, but what they really need to do is re-upload the full tell-all, so everyone can see how Kody treated Christine and how demeaning he really was. That episode also revealed Kody and Robin were already going to therapy with Mary before Robin even officially joined the family, which showed the cracks had been there all along. That tell-all exposed the deep-rooted issues they tried to hide, and it's no surprise they scrubbed it at the time. They weren't just protecting Kody from looking bad, they were protecting the family's secrets. But now that everything has collapsed and Christine's book is exposing the truth, it looks like TLC is finally done protecting him. The question is, will they start re-releasing more deleted content? Christine has already been laughing about what's coming in season 20, saying Kody's behavior is just ridiculous. Honestly, TLC needs to stop holding back. Release the entire episode. Show viewers who Kody Brown really is. Anyway, besties, let me know what you think. Are you surprised TLC stopped covering for him, or do you think they only did it because Christine was going to spill anyway? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and click the bell so you don't miss future videos. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.